Thank you very much, our indefatigable uh, Mr. I call him honorable. To be honest, I have given him a honorary doctorate as well because he's a very versatile man. I've seen him involved in networking and delivery of a lot of difficult situations, and he's done very well. From what you have just said, Mr. Onasanya, I will just chip in this. I will make a reference to Dr. Obaseki. There was a lady I met that came to where one event that she knew me through MTDD, and she said, "Oh, Mr. Opanuga, do you know that through your network MTDD that we are using Dr. Obaseki's chamber for to help us in some legal matters." And I said, "Did you mention MTDD there?" She said yes, and that she's getting a very good service from our service, from whatever service, I mean the service she is rendering. This is what we are talking about, getting the best from the networking that we have. It's not just like what Dr. Obaseki said, it's not just about being in the midst of rich and famous, but equally, even like I said, rich and famous don't like people just being around them for party only. They want to network, they want to increase their economic vibrance. They don't want to be behind, so they always carry people along who will be able to help them increase in their bounty. So if you sit, or if one sits with the rich and famous, if you're not getting the best from it, is because it could be because of the fact that you are not getting the best, you are not networking well with them about what services you are bringing onto them, and not just the social aspect. All of them are all encompassing. So like what Mr. Onasanya and everyone that has spoken so far have said, I believe that we need all these networking truly, and know why we are going there. If we go in there and we don't get the connectivity, it's not easy. We need to know how to approach people. We need to create a conversation, because I learned about creating a conversation when I was an executive sales person for one of the blue chip companies, and it helped me a lot. We need to build a relationship, and part of our goal then was take the money. That is the primary goal, because they are business, they are in the blue chip what do you call it, Nasdaq stock, so they don't joke. Take the money is the end. So they have build a relationship, build the trust, build a kind of conversation with your customer, and make sure you take the money. That is the end result of the whole loop. So, and this is, and if the customer is gone without delivering, without you delivering, it means that you are failed in that area, and by the time you lose 2, 3 or 4 customers without bringing the thousands into the pocket of the company, then your commission will be affected. So I always like private companies, because they are profit driven machine, not unlike the public businesses, whereby you know, the government gets taxes from people. So whether the people put in much efficiency or not, they are getting the money, they are getting paid. But good enough, public enterprise is changing. It's now becoming more people focused and more value added. So more or less, if you go into any public jobs nowadays, you will find that you will be so much grilled as if you are working in a private company for little. So that tells you that things are changing as well in the public sectors as we have in the private sector. But if you have been able to work in both sides, because I work all my life in private companies before I joined public enterprise as a teacher. You know, it's a public thing as well, and it's now teaching has changed, education has changed in UK. It's all about the student. What value are you putting in? The target, the parents. If the parents complain, you know that it goes on your file. It means that you have not handled the relationship with your student very well. So we are no longer in that environment whereby you just think because you're a teacher, you are teaching the students, whatever happens, you get paid. No, you are being monitored. All your values to those kids are being monitored on a spreadsheet of data, of the analysis of their targets, how they are developing, how they are moving up, how they are moving down the ladder. So all these things are changing across the world. And I will now move this particular discussion to Mrs. Omibiyi, because Mrs. Omibiyi works in the education sector as well, and she's been in it for more than a decade. So she can chip in one or two advice on what you think the networking in the youth environment, how it is changing our, because I have seen a lot of things. I was telling one of the parents, I said, one of my parents, that we thought that our young people from Nigeria, especially, that we thought that they have disconnected living in UK from us because of the fact that some of us have not been able to take them home. But we realized that these children have developed their own networking, and it's more vibrant than our own. And part of it is what we saw during the protest last year in UK, the NSAR, where I have not seen any protest that took over the whole of Twitter. You know, whereby Twitter became so you know, moved that they had to, like, this is a big business for us. Shaken by Nigerian youth, by youth. My children too, who were in secondary school then, they were able to tell me, I didn't even know. So it tells you that these young people are using the social media to network very well and building relationship. And I can equally tell you that our fear in terms of our tradition, that these children will be able to carry our tradition further, despite the fact that we thought that they have disconnected from the from our culture. But we realize that when these young people are organizing events, they are doing extremely well. When they organize party, they are doing fantastically well. I can tell you that. So, Mrs. Omibiyi, over to you, and let us hear from you what you think we could do better to build the networking capability of these young people and entwine it into our own age group, so that we too can benefit from these young people's networking, because a lot of businesses are going into that young people. And we people who are their parents or who are the big leaders of companies, we are at the top. If we disconnect from these young people, we are losing a lot of business connections and expertise from this big group, and they form more than 60% of the society, and they are the future leader. Over to you, Mrs. Omibiyi. Please unmute your phone, Mrs. Omibiyi. If Mrs. Omibiyi is there, she can unmute and add something to it. If Mrs. Omibiyi is not available, because I'm not sure she's not. Oh, she's on. Very good, Mrs. Omibiyi. Did you hear what I just said? Maybe you can help us throw more light into that area. Youth power, the power of the youth, and we, the people at the top, who are the parents here. How can we connect this youthful power of economy into our own network so that we can build a bigger society?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, what I believe in is that at times, you see, the youth, they look at what you as parents are achieving in the home. Yeah?
Yeah.
And through that, because to be honest with you, with youth, they are always in a different world. And I'll give you an example. Like myself, I'm a teacher. I would have loved one of my kids to become like, at least love what I'm doing, or do, be in that, but they really don't like that area. But what I encourage them to do is that in any area they find themselves, they should embrace it. For example, like now some youths, they really know what they want to do. Some don't know what to do. Some don't even know the career to pick. So what I always encourage them to do is to try and then go for, something that is arranged, probably in their college, so that they can know more about different professions. So, for example, some of them that doesn't know what to do, and one good thing about this country is that you can choose any subject and still do what you wish to do.
Yes.
But building the network is by them exposing themselves to, like, some of these big companies that will that wants to invite people. They want to see the youth come.
Yeah.
But the thing is that at times they don't even know what to do, because nobody is channeling them to such an event. So I just think possibly we expose them more to what is going on in the economy and different things that they can actually tap into. And that will actually come by them visiting places. They can't just be at home and expect something to happen. So we need to try as much as possible to give, to advise them, and anything they want to do, we support them, and also we can help them to actually make them to reach out as well to these companies as well.
Yes.
So that's what I see about, because it's not something that because you didn't tell me before, I don't really know what to say, but I don't know much to say about it. But all I know is that, like now in colleges, when they are doing their A-levels, because that's where they will start thinking about, oh, what am I going to do when I get to uni? Okay, what profession do I want to dabble myself into?
Yeah.
And knowing what you want to do is easier, but for some, they don't even know what they want to do. So I think youths like that, we need to support them. And then probably if we know some of our, some of our colleagues, or maybe colleagues, I don't mean colleagues like in the educational sector, because that's where I am, but in other sectors as well. Because I know that, like for example, like the Asians, they do this, maybe from a very young age, they've been actually putting the mind of a child into, like, maybe becoming a lawyer or becoming like a dentistry. So some of them, in fact, I have some friends that what they do, that they allow their kids to skip a year, a youth to skip. If you don't know what to do, you skip a year. You now try to, think about, oh, okay, if you want to, okay, in my mind, I think, oh, this child is has like law, likes legal things, or maybe by how you say things, I can now say, okay, let me speak to somebody in the legal business or the legal profession, so that you can try and see what they do around there. And from there, they know, they have interest on which profession to go for. Because I have some friends that did that with their kids, whereby some will have about 3 things that they really want to do. And what you do is that you try to expose them to different areas. And after that, they can now make up their, when they can, it's just like doing some attachment, not attachment, but, well, what do we call it here again?
Experience, work experience.
Like in colleges, at times we send our kids, like youths, to companies, so that they can have a bit of experience before they choose whatever profession they want to go into. So I think, and speaking to your youth as well, knowing exactly what they want, or watching them to see how you can actually say, let them know their potentials as well. If they know their potentials, that will help as well, and you are supporting their potentials.
Supporting their potentials.
So I think that's how we can start working around that as well.
Wow, that is very, very wonderful, Mrs. Omibiyi. Thank you so much. That is very, very helpful. We are going to get into the session of question and answer later, but let me equally bring in one of the legal luminaries. We also have our dear Mrs. Folasade Afolabi. She just came in as well. Thank you, Mrs. Afolabi. Please unmute your phone and introduce yourself, and people have been waiting to hear from every one of you. Just to introduce yourself, to let people know that you are here, if you are there. But nonetheless, we can now call on Mrs. Folasade Apanpa to give us our own views, because like I said, we are not here for any presentation. We are here to discuss, because I remember that like what Mrs. Omibiyi just said, we cannot and I will equally interlink what Mr. Omibiyi said with what Dr. Obaseki even showed us over the internet about how she was able to manage her daughter through difficult times with bullies in the school. Now that the girl is now going to secondary school, and how the girl came out and became more positive. And like what Mrs. Omibiyi said, we cannot disconnect from these children. We cannot leave them on their own, because we cannot assume that because they are of certain age, they are 18 now, they are 17 now, they are finished secondary school, we should leave them. We cannot leave our children. We have to monitor their development. We have to focus their mind on what is right, what is good, so that at the end of the day, we can say that we have done our best before they can showcase to us what best they are made of. Mrs. Apanpa, over to you to bring your own expertise into this area that we are discussing about, because a lot of points have been made in the last few minutes that we started this. And just like I said, it's not. I don't think it's about number. It's about quality, the quality of discussion, quality of engagement. That matters a lot to me. And when whatever we gather as an information, and whenever people join in, we continue from there, and we spread we get the data of most information being shared here. We get it out there for more people to see it, so that even though they are not able to be part of the Mtdd 6th anniversary live streaming, they can still be part of it, reading through what people are saying. Most of the things some of us that have joined Mtdd in the past have said, with low or high number, many people are using them today to build their businesses, to build their relationship, to build their many things. It's not an easy journey. Nobody knows it all. Even me myself, I must confess to you that through many information that I shared from different people, I managed to enlarge my coast with my network, make it more economically viable for everybody through very, very strong relationship and honesty of purpose. And we are moving things in the direction we want it to be, because we can continue to talk about the Asians, the Chinese, the Westerners. They are doing well, but they are pressing us down. We can continue to look for those excuses. They are pressing us down, they are holding our neck. But what exactly we two are doing to ensure that we become a force to reckon with, so that when we work in numbers, they say there is power in numbers. And even in politics, they say it's a game of number. So there's something about number. We can be individually strong. Dangote, a billionaire, is not enough to break European markets. But if you have many Dangotes within Nigeria doing the same thing, doing many things, I believe even the European market or Asian market will be coming to ask for their expertise. So Mrs. Folasade, Apanpa, over to you, and let us hear from you what you think we could do better to increase this economic viability in our black community. Please unmute your phone. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Once again, as the speakers have been saying, I must say that the importance of networking cannot be overemphasized. Given our time and this age, and especially at a time like this, when the pandemic happened and people are not able to even see face to face. But thank God for our generation, given the power of social media, people are able to remain in touch and be able to still network, even though they're not able to meet physically most of the time. And I must
come in the day attest that you automatically on time of going to meet
Jennifer,
what's in law?
Mr. Olowoporoku.
It's okay.
In regard to how we manage our networking, it is important that we have targets, as it's being said, and we do not overstretch ourselves, which I agree with. But essentially, with networking, we need to really be able to get across to people of like minds, and even at times it may not even be people that were in our primary networking or professional area, because at times there are some networks that you do that may not necessarily be related to your profession, but they'll bring immense gains to you. And there's this, when people were talking, it just brought me to one saying in Yoruba, and I chuckled to myself. They will say, Ori ni Irewa, or Rewa. It's like by you not staying in one place, there are goodness that are connected to you, because you're moving and you're meeting people. You're meeting people that are bringing values to your life. They're bringing, benefits to your life. And it's by, reaching to, people that there are times that there are things that you don't know, is by connecting with people that they will say, oh, this is happening. And they will introduce you to things. Maybe it's an avenue that will bring you, increase in income, second income, or whatnot. Even if it is, things about your children, say this thing is happening, it's good for young children and all that. And you just find that all those things are bringing you, values, they're bringing you benefits. There are things that, there's this thing, that there's no one that is a repository of knowledge, no matter how intelligent you are. You find that, the people around you, the people you network with bring values and they bring their benefits to your life. And you're thereby, you are richer for them.
Oh, Mr. Papa, I think your phone went on mute. Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. When also networking, it is important that we do not limit. I know that we're saying that we focus on our primary. We have primary we can have primary network areas, but that does not limit us. The fact that we are in the Black community, we want our community to be enriched, we want our community to be better, does not mean we don't reach across board to other people that can help us, because um, we as we as a people, we're rich in culture, we're rich in so many things, but there are other people too across board, even people of other culture that can help us, that we can also learn from. So we should not limit our networking to, to only our profession or only to our community. We should let it be, to also extend across culture, across race, and it is by that, because we are now in a global village where you find that things, even though we have similarity in culture, we have similarity in certain things that are peculiar to people as generally, because you see certain things are happening to Africans, people in India are experiencing the same, people in the US are experiencing the same. But having said that, when your interaction cuts across culture and climate, you find that the things that you don't know, the things that you're not exposed to, that you come to learn, that you come and you come to benefit from. So now that we are in this age where we have all the avenues that could aid us, and we have this, social media and the internet. Even though internet can also be negative, let's use, it's there for a positive use. Let's use it effectively to help us, and to help us make the best use of our connections. And as was rightly said before, a little text here, a little, a phone call of half a minute could do a lot at times, those things. Because even if you are not able to see physically, all those little things, even just a line, will go a long way to help, solidify the basis that we're building. Because, like it's rightly said, people that you've not had any interaction with in months, it may be difficult for you to get across to them and say, oh, no, don't mind him. It's when he needs me that he gets across. It shouldn't be. So all those things are very important. So we encourage us to just key into all these things that have been said. They're invaluable nuggets that could help us in the way we network with people, and in the way we enrich our life and the life of others. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, that is very, very fantastic message we got from Mrs. Folasade Apanpa. Thank you so much. That is to recap on what Ms. Apanpa was trying to say. We cannot limit our scope to only the African community. We have to increase our tentacles to other communities too, the Asian community, the European communities, the white communities, because like she said, we're in a global village. What happens in Nigeria is happening in India. People in China are having gross effect on people across the world. So that means we are all a community. We have to make sure we do everything humanly possible to embrace humanity, embrace networking, ensure that we are developing as a people, and not alienate ourselves from the reality of the world. She talked about the importance of being together and not just getting in touch with people because you need them for something, because you never know when you need them whether they will be there for you, because of course, human beings are, they can easily profile in this new age. It's very easy for people to just take decision about you just within what they see on Facebook, they see on social media, just without even investigating. So because people don't have time anymore in this real age, it's called a real time. We are working against time. So people like I said to one of the people I called today, I said that even though I might have been disseminating a lot of information out there to remind people about MTDD, I still value it to call people, even though I have very limited time to do so, because I believe that calling them, even though like what Mr. Onasanya said earlier on, sometimes you feel, oh my God, I'm calling this person, but I've not called this person for a long time. Why am I calling this person now? But we know that we are in a changing world. We just came out of COVID-19. A lot of things have happened within families, within friends, within neighbors, and we still have time to sit down together to talk about what affects our future, our life, our present situation. So, and from what majority of us have said, networking can bring economic viability too. I have been part of, and like many of us will have realized too, we are doing crowd funding on the Facebook, on the internet, on whatever, rolling out petition for this, petition for that, and people just click in, and the petition grows and it changes decision making in the people that we don't even know where something is going to. You just click this, you click that, and they are talking about it, and the ripple effect, we feel it down the spectrum, and we see changes in the policy because of the power of networking. And the economic aspect of it is like what Mrs. Apanpa said, that sometimes you never know when the relationship you have with people might have a positive effect on your financial well-being too. So if we rely only on our 9 to 5 work, oh, that is very sweet, that is easy. Just wake up in the morning, go to work, sit down, do 40 hours a week, get paid, and year in, year out, 20 years on work, 25 years on work. Because I know one of my colleagues at work just retired after 30 something years at work, and he was still worried that will he be going out there to face, you know. So the reason why some people might stay at work for so long might be because of the fear of coming out and facing the real world. But remember, if our networking had been good from the beginning, we should not be scared to come out of one thing and jump into another thing, because we will have synergized our relationship so that it's easy for us to come out from something and get into another one and still continue to survive on that. So I am calling a leaf from what many of us are already sharing, that it is helping us, it is helping you, it is helping everybody that is hearing us, it is helping a larger society. This is helping our youth as well, our young people too. Looking into this area of community engagement, community development, I'm going to introduce, if Mrs. Folasade Afolabi is ready to speak to us now. She can unmute our phone while we wait for that to happen. She can unmute her phone and speak to us and let us hear from you. Unless maybe she's having a problem unmuting. Ask to unmute, okay. Okay, Mrs. Folasade Afolabi will, maybe she's busy, she might join in later. We can't hear, she hasn't spoken. So from my area that I've just shared with you, because like they say, it's always good for anyone that is saying something, that is organizing something, to equally share his own experience too. That it's not just about hearing from you, it's about hearing from everybody. I have been recently, MTD branched out. something that I've never done before. I've been hearing about it, I know about it, but I've never been involved in it. And part of it is the new stack finance scheme, of which most of us know traditionally to be called Ajo in Yoruba. So, and when I took this idea to, when I was speaking to people in other cultural, ethnic background, the people in the white community, they were giving it different names too. Some of them were calling it partnering something. The people in the Caribbean were calling it partnering. The people in England are calling it crowdfunding. So many things. So most of the things that we do, others are doing it. Some of them want to be part of it, and some of them are scared to be part of it because they don't know the other people at the end whether they are committed to it. So it tells you that we can build. I've never done it, like I said, but I know people who have been doing it, but I've never been engaged in it. I never saw any importance in it because I thought maybe it's primitive. But when I look into it and I use my information technology expertise to build a structure around it, before I knew what's going on, over 38 people have clicked into it. I have been a beneficiary in it because it is helping my savings through networking. Some people I don't even know. People involving some family members or people that they know at work to join in. We've never met, we don't know, but they are committed to it. So you know me, I know you, this one knows this, and everybody becomes a community. And we are beginning to roll money out monthly. Every little helps. It can become a conglomerate. You never know. But before it becomes a conglomerate, you have to build a structure around it so that when it becomes too large, you are not overwhelmed by the difficulties it might bring as well. So, Mrs. Afolabi, are you ready to speak to us? Because we could see that you are online with us, but we cannot hear you. We cannot. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
I
thank
heard
you.
as much.
Thank you, madam.
Because
Thank you, madam.
I
Thanks for coming in. We really
I
appreciate
joined
you.
up. I joined up to be babysitting as well.
Oh, great.
So that's why
that
I'm
is
a listener.
that is the joy of it. That is
So
the joy of it.
that's why I've been listening to everybody's contribution, and I'm still watching, listening.
Thank you. I understand the situation. Thank you very much, madam. So, what Mrs. Afolabi is saying that she might not be able to join to speak now because she's a grandmother.
I will.
Oh, can you speak? Oh, okay. Oh, go ahead then. Go ahead, madam.
Yeah, but probably after a while, after a short while,
Okay
so
then.
I can be more relaxed.
Okay then. Okay, go ahead, madam. Hello, Mr. Afolabi. Okay, she's okay now. Okay. Mr. Afolabi, do you want to speak to us now or you want to speak to us later?
Yes, later. Please.
Okay. So, dear all participants, is open to you again because we cannot hold this anymore. How can we increase, like you have all said, how we can improve on our economic viability? We need to start talking. And like I always tell people, saying nothing is not an option for me. Just keep quiet, don't say anything, just let it be. So, Mr. Dr. Obaseki, if you are still available, please kindly add to most of the things that everyone else has said here, and maybe add one or two things together and let us see whether we could do something different. Because I believe that if we continue to stay in one place, the world is moving very fast. So we need to continue to move along with the world. And that is the essence of MTDD. We need to be changing, we need to be moving away from our comfort zone and be out there. I am a witness to Mrs. Obaseki, Dr. Obaseki. She is, I mean, as busy as she is in our chamber, she's on the Facebook sharing information, sharing knowledge, and we might not really engage with her speaking about what she's doing online, but we are equally not alienated from what she's doing. We are watching. We have time sometimes to go there and see what she's done, and we might build one or two. Because recently she shared, like I said to you, she shared something on our mtdd. She shared something on the Facebook. She shared it on the messenger. I never got into it because I thought it was just a link. But when I finally had time, because I was very busy too, I just went in and said, let me see what Ms. Obaseki was trying to share with us. And that was when I saw that, oh, there is a big information behind what she's saying. Then I started reading it. I read it to half and I got the message. Then I shared it with people to say, oh, this is what Ms. Obaseki was saying. So that means we should not always take our eyes away from what people are sharing. Because whenever they share things, don't think they don't have time. They are not involved in other things. They are not busy. You never know what the reason why they are sharing those things is information. So, Dr. Obaseki, over to you to give us more insight into today's event.
Okay, thank you. I think everybody's really added a lot of really useful information to this topic of discussion. I'm learning as I'm listening. The one thing I was going to say to you is there's no magic formula. What works for you may not work for me. What's right for you may not be right for me. And the one thing that we have to remember is God does not make photocopies. Even identical twins are different. So you've always got to remember that what's unique to you, you need to embrace. The one thing I always say to people is I'm not technical. As much as you see all this posted and stuff, I'm very much not technical, and I like to keep things very simple. So what may be my audience on LinkedIn may not be my same audience on Facebook. On Facebook, I've learned that with regards to certain platforms, I have to operate them differently. What I operate for my NGOs, for women and girls, and for immigration is different from what I'll network for my practice. It's different from what I'll network for myself as a speaker. So, for example, that LinkedIn post that you're talking about, what I put on Facebook was to celebrate a particular issue around my daughter. But what I put on LinkedIn was what I learned on how to deal with an issue with the school of my daughter. Wow. So, and the one on Facebook attracted maybe 100 or 200 likes. Wow. The one on LinkedIn has 7,000 or 8,000 views. Wow. And 200 plus likes. Plus, so each audience is even different. So that means you also have to know who you're talking to. Apart from knowing yourself, you've got to know who you're talking to. And that is a very fine art. And appreciating that customer A or audience A is different from audience B, and they may have different needs. You may not even have that ability to be that flexible or that diverse, but it depends on your interests, your group, your skill set as well. Some people have others do their posting on social media. I never started that way because I didn't have the money when I started. So the weird thing about it is I've grown different pools of audiences. And so now I'm tired and I'm busy. Wow. And so I'm trying to think of who can manage it. But at the same time, explaining to people that I have that level of diversity amongst different audiences, they even find it strange. But and I know that if you go to Oshodi Market, you have that person that comes that wears slipper of 50 naira or even broken slipper. Then you have the one that comes with slipper of $5,000 because they are from, wow. That. So you have different audiences, but you might be selling the one thing to the same people that have these different levels of slipper. So it's just important that you really begin to embrace what is unique about you. Also begin to understand that you don't just copy people or do things because people tell you to do things. That's one mistake. in this world. People think, they're all doing this, let's just do this. They're all in Clubhouse, let's all go in Clubhouse. They're all in Telegram. How are you then going to service these things? How do you communicate that without getting lost in the mix? Is it right for you? Is it right for your product, for your service, for your business? Is it right for where you want to be in 3 years' time? Not where you want to be in the afternoon tomorrow, but where do you want to also for you, your brand, to be in 3, 5 years' time? You know, is everything sort of synced up? Have you planned it? Is it all strategically aligned? If it's not strategically aligned, are you planning at least to try and make sure that you're forging your way in that direction to where you want to be? That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Wow. That is good. That is awesome. That is awesome. Thank you very much.
You need to unmute your...
Oh, thank you, Dr. Obaseki. I'm going around the loop again. Mr. Onasanya, if you are still there, because I know you're quite busy as well. If you are still there, that is the power of technology. You can multitask easily. Mr. Onasanya, maybe if Mr. Onasanya is still okay, is on now. Mr. Onasanya,
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Sparing your quality time with us. From what Mr. Obaseki just said, different. The technology is changing. The world is changing. Some people still say, "Oh, I don't want to be on the social media. I don't," and I still laugh and say, "How are you increasing your network if you're not on these things? How do okay?" Because I know, I can tell you categorically, a blue chip company that I know very well, of multi-billion pound investment in UK here, was sold for £1 because they refuse to embrace technology. They refuse to embrace the changing world of social media and online business, online networking, online everything. During the time of the pandemic, we were able to see a lot of new billionaires coming out. While some of us are still worried about the COVID-19, some people are already taking advantage of it, moving into online business. And even me, I could see a lot of delivery in my area. Delivery today, delivery from people, delivery to me, delivery to my children, delivery every day.
Amazon.com delivery.
It just tells you how everything just changed, and multi-billion pounds.
Yeah, my wife has become a champion in online shopping.
It is amazing.
If I don't get to the store, I still am not comfortable buying certain things. But yes, bit by bit, I'm changing. Yeah. I do a lot of online research now to buy stuff before I go into the shop.
Wow.
You know what? It actually saves me time. Imagine me trying to go to home page, be in queue and wait in one afternoon when I could check online, see their prices, see their products, and then decide which one to go and look at physically. Yeah, continue.
So we want you to throw more insight into your experience, because we know you are versatile, you are vast in experience, but we don't want the experience to be limited to you alone. We want you to share the experience about how we can continue to increase the economical viability. Because I know that you and I, we've worked on some projects before, and we see how we were able to change narratives and people's way of doing things and all sort of things. Sometimes we came into a big conflict with some people as well, because they do not want to embrace change. Because change is that's another thing, embracing change and carrying change across, which is a very very difficult process for some people to manage. How do you think?
Thank you. Well, I will go back and do like an historical analysis, and then bring it forward, and then look at the global perspective, and tapping on some of the comments today.
I think we lost your contact there. Your phone. Okay. Hello. Okay. I think
hello,
the
can you hear me?
network. Oh yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And when I was working with what is called Word Star and Supercar, which is the modern version now is Excel and Word. Okay, you have to shut down Word before you go into Excel. You will have to shut down Excel before you go into another software. Okay, so we were told there's a thing called mouse and Windows. That what mouse and window will do is that the mouse will allow you to cross between windows without having to shut down one software and the other. We were in the office. We thought this is amazing. How can this happen? So we had to send off one of our managers to go and find out what this mouse thing is. We don't even have a picture of what the mouse looked like. So we were not sure. So anyway, he came back. He was very excited. His name is Nigel. I'll never forget him. Telling us about this mouse. You move it around on a mat, and then you go between different software. And I'm like, wow, amazing. All right. So some young people have never experienced that. Now, the other day I was speaking to a guy, maybe in his 30s. I talked to him and we talked about something to do with fax. And he said he has heard of fax, he's never seen it before. And I remember sending a fax machine. I was sending a fax from one single machine.
I think we lost you a little bit again because I know the network can be bad sometimes. But we'll wait for you to come back to come.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
so now
it's
let's
working.
Fast forward. When Amazon, lastminute.com, year 2000 came about, and we started hearing about the internet, and people started talking about online shopping, and you don't need to go to the shop. Those who embraced the idea of change early, right, by getting involved in these organizations, either as employees or as investors. Just think about it. If you invested £1,000 in Amazon.com when it started, or Oracle, or Apple, the mobile phone that I saw in 1989 was as big as the battery. Okay, now look at what a mobile phone can do. So what I'm trying to say is change is a permanent feature in our lives. And if you don't engage in understanding what changes are affecting you, identify what you need to learn quickly and embrace it, you will be left behind. And as a matter of fact, do you know how many companies have been left in the last 10, 20 years? Woolworth has gone, Comet has gone, so many companies, so many. Maplin's gone, all the record label companies gone. Even CDs now, I can't even use it in my new car. It's USB and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So, same thing in how we embrace new ideas. And this is the idea for some people, networking is just about keeping friends. They don't understand that some people apply techniques, strategy. Even some people go as far as marrying the daughter of a governor or minister to build their work to the next level. That's how serious some people take networking. Not to talk of people ensuring that actually know some people who pick which church they go to because they know certain individuals are there who is going to help them. So if they go to that church, they network with the right people there, and they go to where they want to be.
And they want to be.
So let's not take networking like it's a joke. Go and see politicians, see how they move. See people who are directors and CEOs of organizations. You will find out that they know other CEOs, other directors, government ministers in government, no CEOs, no directors. Guess what happens? The moment prime minister or a minister leaves government, he's in one investment bank, he's in director of this. It didn't happen overnight. They are both working hand in hand behind the scenes. Some people even set up a company. It's actually networking, but they call it lobbying. And money gets paid. You know why? Because if you are 2 or 3 steps to or 2 or 3 steps to a minister, or 2 or 3 steps to a prime minister, do you know it's money making? In Nigeria, if you can connect to the people, and a deal gets done, maybe worth $1 million, 10% is your, they call it PR. So some people, they work it daily. They don't invite them to a party. They will find their way to a party. They can meet a couple of people that they will now go back to their friends or their business network and go and tell them, they package themselves to say, I know minister, I know governor, I know this, bring your proposal, I will present it to them. And truly, he will work that connection that he established from that party, get that meeting to take place. If that deal clicks, it's chopping. So don't see networking as just your individual benefits. It's also economic. People use it to make income. Right? And then let's be honest, right? I have been in situations in Lagos. That's why Lagos networking is even sweeter. Sitting in my car, you know, have my headphones that was still speaking. I was using my phone. Anyway, jumps into my car. Let's go to the office. Oh my God, what do? I pleaded with him, he refused, and I have a meeting. I called Demola Fashola, who is the half brother to the Fashola, ex-governor of Lagos State. The guy says, don't worry, give the phone to the guy. He asked the last part guy, which area are you from? He said, I'm from area D or whatever. It's okay. Your guy, area D, Mr. Payo, did something. Do you want him to call you directly, or would you leave my friend? He said, oh, that's sorry, sir. The guy cleared the traffic, and I was off. I said, Kai, imagine if I didn't have that network. So sometimes our network helps us to solve problems. You might have issues to do with your passport, whatever that issue might be. Your network, who do I know, can help you solve. It might be your child, it might be your friend that needs help. It is your network that will open doors for you. So I see it as a very important resource to have. Build it, nurture it, maintain it, and use it at the right time.
Wow.
And lastly, what you said from a global perspective in terms of organizations making serious money with the use of technology. I've already said it. Lastminute.com, Amazon, all these big companies, 15, 20 years ago, they were nothing. Today, Amazon is a $1 trillion organization. Worth 200 billion. The guy who set up the electronic car company, Alan Musk, or whatever his name is, that guy is under 50, billionaire. He saw electric car as the way forward, maybe 15, 20 years ago. He's a leader running the show. Yeah, so we must get out of our comfort zone, and Opanuga said, think about what's happening strategically, like Dr. Baker exactly said, and engage ourselves in the way that will benefit us. I'll stop there.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you. That is, this is awesome. This is one of the great thing about why MTD, we don't want the spirit of MTDD to die. Because we know that through MTDD, a lot of yokes are broken. A lot of constriction are opened. And you can see from what Mr. Onasanya has just said, never take this for granted. That is a very key word. Taking things for granted. I remember that when I moved to, like what he said about religious circle, because it's still human beings going there. Wherever people are converged and forming a kind of whatever is bringing them together, we should try and see how we can not necessarily be part of it, but look at the other aspect of it. And when you look at, because I've studied the Europeans very well, we can see that they travel a lot. They travel a lot. And when they travel, they don't travel just for the aspect of social life only. as a matter of fact, through out of their social life, they were able to build economic power across the world. And the economic power they built, you can call it any name you like, imperialism or whatever, is still power for power struggle for economy, because they are not going there just to go and destroy the economy. They are going there to make sure they take advantage of the economy, hold on to the economy. That is why you see that today many of the European countries, they have what they call them superpower, not because of their economy only, but also in terms of the amount of arsenal, the military arsenal they possess, because they know that if anybody wants to stop them or kind of impede on that their economic power, they have something to harass, they have something to control, to structure, to order, which we call a new order, and that is through military power. And they find out that after the World War II, that killing each other physically, using all sort of things, World War is not building anybody, is actually creating more problems, both for the host nation that they go into war with and themselves too, because when you destroy people's economy, you destroy people's confidence as well. And they now brought about what they call human relations management, effective communication. And when you look at most of the European countries, they eat a lot from effectively communicating. If you come to their country, like most of us who have lived abroad, we realize that even though they do all these things all over and in another part of the world, in their own country, they make sure that there's what they call human rights. There's what they call the same human rights they might violate going abroad, they might protect it here, but they still make sure they protect it elsewhere, even though there might be some double standard in their so-called human rights. But that is not for us to judge. And they've created a very robust legal system, and we thank God that we have some of the legal luminaries from the black community, like we have Dr. Obaseki, Mrs. Apanpa, who are been in this circle to go and see and be defending the community in the same law firm. Otherwise, it would have been so easy for us to face the judge and our case are determined before the judge, that we don't know, that is not in any way connected to our way of life. So this is another way to say that part of our economic power is our education. It's about looking into where these powers are held and going in there and be part of it. It might take long before we build. Like what Mr. Onasanya said, we cannot take this for granted. So I will move on again to call upon we have some new entrants. To be honest, I don't know who they are, but I can see Miss Mope. I think that might be Mrs. Tayo, because I've come across that name before. And I can see Mrs. Fumi something, Mufumi A. But do you want to introduce yourself? I'm sorry if I could not introduce you very well, because and I can see Mrs. Kemi Oduwole. Oh, Mrs. Oduwole. Thank you, Mrs. Oduwole, for coming in. We really appreciate your coming. Before we move on to another one, we now have to maybe I should speak again. We should call upon.
My pleasure.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Oduwole. Thank you for coming in. What we are discussing before you came in is about how we, as a not only black community, how all of us can be able to the black community. We are black here anyway, but it doesn't matter. Whoever joins in, whatever culture, is not really important. But it's about building a society. Mrs. Afolabi has her hand up. Please unmute your phone and let us hear what you want to add to this seminar.
No, I was just wondering that before you move on, probably I could, because I wanted to really talk, but because I had a 2-year-old clinging on to me, and I didn't want to wake her up. But I just thought, okay, I'll need to make this contribution before you move on into another aspect of the discussion. Because we were talking of networking, and we're talking of what should we do and what we shouldn't do, and how should we take advantage of it. And because you wanted me to talk earlier, but I couldn't because I knew of how I was at home. But I just thought I needed to, because it was like everybody was talking at me, and I was looking at where I stand in the discussion of the day and the submission of everyone this afternoon. Seriously, when we talk of networking, I think I'm one person who has been very laid back. It would be nice to use that word, to give that expression about it all, because you remember, Mr. Opanuga, that even as at last Sunday, we're both looking at advertising on Facebook.
Yes.
And that tells you that I'm far behind in the scheme of things. And the reason why is, honestly, is a perception that I think, I won't say I regret, but on hindsight, I want to believe that I would have preferred if I had been like 10 years forward, not where I am today with social media and networking. Because I have come to realize that the entire world is going to be based on the kind of connections that we can make, so much so that if you are not there, you'll be losing out, and then you are left behind, and others are moving on, because networking represents the per capita income for quite a large number of people in the world today. The people who are in underdeveloped countries have taken advantage of networking, and with that, they are catching up faster than those of us who are even in developed countries, because they have a problem. The infrastructural development is not there. So what they can make connection with, they grab it and they enlarge it, they develop it, they maximize every opportunity that can come out of it. And that has enabled them to forge ahead faster than we are. The average person in Nigeria owns a laptop, a tablet, a this and that, and they don't get the cheap range. They get the very expensive range so that they can utilize everything that they have or they own in order to network and take advantage of the world. Whereas, because we are here, we're sitting down because everything comes to us, and we are not doing as much as we do, which is why you have people going into using social mediums to blog, to give information, to connect, to advertise, to proselytize, to do everything you can, even before COVID. Now, what COVID has done is created an eye-opener, because not anywhere in the world would anyone have deciphered that the world would operate the way it is. Not in 2019, this time of 2019, no one would have made that projection. Everyone would have thought they would be stupid, because you would want to imagine, what are you talking about? Offices, Deloitte says all their staff would work from home forever, in a whole lifetime. For the number of years they're going to spend in employment, they could work from home. A lot of big companies in the country today have taken that decision to work from home, work from home, work from home, initially the Prime Minister was thinking, it was going to affect mortgages, it was going to affect offices, it was going to affect this, affect that. It would have affected, but it's just that the advantage that gives to the employer and the employee is so phenomenal that nobody is thinking of probably the downside to people are not connected. No, for as long as they can connect online and they can get things done and they can deliver, it's all for it. I knew in 2005 that teachers could teach online, but I never knew that you could subject a whole school or the entire nation and the world, or the entire world to online teaching. No, I wouldn't have thought that would have been possible. So if anyone did not take advantage of the premise of networking, then I think the person should start counting their losses. Like I have been, because there are lots of things I would have been able to get done if I had been able to do more things online than I can. When my husband took to online shopping, I used to think, why would you have to do that? When you just go down to the stores and see the beauty of things, you can see that, you can see that, you can buy things. But I know a lot of people have abandoned their shops and now connect people through group meetings and stuff, and they advertise through using even the platform of WhatsApp, not even Facebook, WhatsApp, to connect with buyers, and then they make sales, phenomenal sales, more than what they would have and when they owned shops and all of that. And I'm really talking of this cuts across every form of business, anything at all, including food, anything, services, everything we can think of, everything that is humanly possible is now being advertised using the social media. So which means if one is not connecting, if one is not doing it, if one is not taking advantage of it, one would be left static, and then the world will be moving ahead. So it's so important, because I do not want to go into nitty-gritty details of, what does she mean by personal experience? Yes, I'm actually licking my wounds with the idea of personal experience, because I know the number of miles that would have gone like million miles faster in so many things if I had bought into the idea of social media much earlier. Networking. And because the word networking applies to so many things, like Mr. Onasanya said, it's not only about using social media. Even the human network is so important. He gave us an experience he had in Nigeria. And I think, seriously, in fact, I almost screamed on point. That is very true. The kind of people you relate with, the communication you maintain with people in diverse forms and in varied areas of life could project you into the mainstream of things faster than what you ever expect. If you nurture, I'll use this word, you use the word nurture. If you nurture these relationships and you take advantage of them when it does matter, of course it does. And Dr. Obaseki would confirm, even though this is a very sad one, it was December 2019 when we heard that we're having Christmas dinner. We just laid the table and we're just about to start eating. When we heard in the news, when my sister-in-law was here, got a phone call that a family of Nigerian descent went to Spain, and the 3 members of the family got drowned.
Yeah.
And the authorities in Spain were trying to make life difficult for the woman, more also because she could not, because the husband got drowned with 2 other children, and because she could not speak the language. And they said, they needed somebody they needed a lawyer who would stand in for the woman in Spain. And at the spur of the moment, the only person that came to me, even though I knew my own daughter studied law, I didn't even think of her at all.
the first person I thought of was Dr. Obaseki, and I said, oh, there's this group that I belong to. It's a group of academics and people who have seen it all. Oh, I know there's a lady who I know if we call now will be very helpful. And then I passed a number to my sister-in-law, who happens to be the administrator for the Redeemed Christian Church of God, because it's one of their pastors that was involved. And instantly she started giving them the lead, and she took it up immediately. And it was a big relief. You can imagine that very night. It was, in fact, that was the end of Christmas dinner for us, because we had that 3 lives we had lost. We couldn't eat. That just ended everything we wanted to do that evening. And the point is, the relief was that at least somebody needed help. That person could help, could get the help. So MTTD became the platform that gave me the opportunity to be able to help somebody that night, which is why human networking is very, very important as well. When you're in dire need and you need that help, Mr. Opanuga knows professionally, I do not know how to use Excel. That night I needed to submit something to my bosses the next day. And instead of physically adding this and subtracting that and organizing this data and all of that, I couldn't do it. I remember learning about Excel. I didn't remember the formula. I didn't know what to do. And then I just sent a message. I said, oh, there's something you have to help me to do. It's so big, but you have to help me to do. He said, and that was around 11:45. He was still awake. He saw the message. He said, oh, send the data. And in 3 minutes, he used his own formula. He sorted it out, and everything was in place in 3 minutes. That's something that would have taken me the whole night till 9 o'clock the next morning if I had to manually have to sort the data. I've just given two simple examples of things that I have experienced when it comes to networking. So it's there's another man who came on the MTD program some years ago. He's from Transport for London, and he gave us a delivery on how we could help people to the scheme of things with such big organizations, and especially with our children and stuff. And he gave that delivery, and seriously, for me, it was the end of it that day. But 2 years after, I think that was not sure whether that was 2019 or 2018. 2 years after, there was a problem with a child. And then I remember, I said, oh, somebody came from Transport, and I remember the name. So I just went back online to check the delivery. I picked his name. I think it's Engineer Omibiyi or something, if I remember. Then I just picked the number. Then I contacted, I sent him a text message. And I said, oh, I needed this. Then he didn't respond by text. He phoned, and then I passed the information to that family. Which is why, honestly, it seems as if one is saying too much when you are unpicking the advantage of being part of a group and of being part of academics, of being part of people who have had varied experiences in the world and have shared their experiences with people, and then you buy into these ideas, and then you look at the number of hours that you sit at home in order to take advantage of these opportunities, and then you see the far-reaching opportunities that may lay ahead when you use the knowledge that you have gained from this medium in other areas of life, with other people who are connected to you, and with people whom you can actually advance their own individual lives with the knowledge that is gained. It's phenomenal, and because of that, I think, which was why I didn't even want to talk, because I know the advantage, the importance, and the reality that is in networking. In fact, I think I picked the idea of networking in Nigeria when I was in human resources. And I went for IPM conference then, and I used to be one person who was too busy. And each time I used to attend all local events of the Institute of Preston Management, and I made sure I paid my dues as a fellow of the institute. I paid all my dues and all of that. And one of my colleagues, who had now risen to be an executive director, but we were classmates at Unilag, we did masters together. And I heard I was executive director at Nigerian Breweries. And I was told he was coming to Nigeria, and I thought I wanted to ask him, oh, how is it? How have you been able to really rise up to executive director when we were still, at that time I was still assistant general manager. And then I thought, how did you get there? So I wanted to see him. And because of that, I decided to go for the Abuja conference. So when I got to Abuja, and I saw the people who attended the conference, wow, that was year 2000. And I saw the kind of delivery, and name any blue chip company, name any training provider, they were all there. And I saw the kind of networking that was going on after we finished at 5 o'clock. I was in my hotel room and I was getting, people were saying, what are you doing? Come on, come down. Let's talk. And then I saw people whom you had to fill forms and wait endlessly before you could see them. And I realized that most of them were just classmates who were either in the same university at the same time, or I was even their senior. And I saw the positions they now occupied. And I saw the influence they were wielding at that conference. I said, the world is not only about me staying under my husband and being a good wife only, or going to work, doing my work and earning and all of it. It's about networking. Because I know the far-reaching decisions that were made at some of the discussions that we had, impromptu discussions that we had as friends, as alumnus of alumni of certain schools and all of that. And I could see what we had achieved, what I achieved with attending that conference for 3 days. And then I made up my mind. Never will I stay as a little fish in a bowl. No. In order to be a big fish, you need to actually make yourself available and let people see what you are capable of doing and you're capable of through any platform. Make sure that there's a sing-song about what you can do and take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. And I think that's why we were able to all come to the UK, because I never wanted to live abroad anymore. My husband was actually tired of living abroad because he schooled in America. He didn't want to even live abroad. In fact, he still want to come back to live in the UK. If you would live anywhere, definitely not UK. So, because he had seen it all and he thought, oh no, why would I have to do this anymore? But when we thought of the children, we decided to take the advantage that came our way. And it was through networking as well. So this is why I'm saying that if I can go on forever, networking, and I can be quoted on any of what I've said, is so important. It has become, probably using Latin, it's sine qua non to making the desired progress for anyone professionally or in order to attain any height that you want in life. Today, it centers the orb is networking. It's right in the middle. Every other thing radiates around it. If you do not network, I think the opposite of that is stagnation, and which is not what we want. And I think we should take it a little bit further beyond this discussion or this forum and talk about it to people, friends, children, especially children, because they have a way of having a closed mind. And seriously, having a closed mind is another way by which one could stifle progress in one's life. So we need to open our minds And in opening your mind, that means that you listen to people. Be a good listener, because you learn from listening to people. You be a good listener, and then you ruminate over, you reflect over what you have heard, and you pick the ones that are very useful. Because I can actually repeat what everybody has said this evening, because I digested the information, processed it in my head, and I think, yeah, there's a lot of altruistic information in what has the exchange of this evening, and that and it's because there is, and we need to make sure that we allow our children to take a very good advantage of the opportunity that we have, so that they too will run away from the mistakes that we have made and be able to forge ahead positively. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Afolabi. That was a wealth of information and experience that you've shared with us. We really appreciate you in the last 5 years that you've joined with us. To be honest, you know, a lot of changes, a lot of experience have been shared, have been gotten from you, and we are so proud to be associated with you. Seeing you year in, year out, we pray that God will continue to strengthen you and be with you. We really love you. We really appreciate everything you've done for MTDD and the wealth of experience you are always sharing as a fellow in the Nigerian Institute of Personnel Management. I mean, it's so glaring, the amount of expertise that are gathered in here. Doctors, lawyers, CEOs of different companies. So we're really proud of all of you for coming on to MTDD 6th anniversary. I've got the hand of Mrs. Omibiyi up. Miss Omibiyi, can you unmute your phone because your hand is up? Maybe you would like to add something. Afterwards, I will now go to Mrs. Oduwole. So, Mr. Oduwole, I will go to you later. Mr. Omibiyi, what? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, and basically, I just want to buttress the point of Mrs. Afolabi. And to be honest, pandemic have actually exposed what is hidden. And then, you know, the power of networking and social media is very vital to the society. Because to be honest with you, I think my brother will say, oh, yeah, because with me, I wasn't really a fan of social media. I didn't really like social media. And even, to be honest, even before the pandemic, I had the opportunity to even teach people in other places, in other countries, using like Zoom and this. And for me, when I get those jobs, I will say, you know what? I don't teach online. I don't want to teach online. I really don't want to do this. I never tried it. And when pandemic happened, honestly speaking, it was like, what is this? How am I going to teach online? And to be honest, I'm actually a part-timer, and I also manage my own thing as well. And it's like, I really need to switch. It wasn't easy, but now I even love to teach online than to be in the office.
Wow.
And then, one thing I always, that I've encountered about people as well, that probably the reason why people don't network. To be honest, I'm not really like into networking, but I still have my group of people that I network with. And I'll give you an example. Like about 3 weeks ago, a client, I was teaching the child, and the client was saying, I need a science teacher. I need a math teacher for secondary school. I said, I don't teach those type of maths, please. And I'm not a scientist. So what did I do? I just connected with my colleagues or friends that are teachers as well. So, and one thing I realized in our society as well, and as people, is that at times we don't actually inform people what we do.
Mm.
You know, when I'm in a group of, okay, if I go to a party now or somewhere, or even at church, people will just say, oh, we just talk, and I will try and ask them. I will ask them. I say, oh, what do you do? And they will tell you. They can say, oh, I'm an event planner, and I'll say, oh, but how do you want people to know you are an event planner if you're not talking about it?
Wow.
So for me, it's like at times people don't talk about things. I know at times, you know, probably the myth of, you know, like my generation. I know I'm looking too young, but you know, in our generation, we've mixed with people who are dishonest, and you find it difficult opening up because I've seen people, they don't want to open up. And this is me. When I had this client, honestly speaking, I just called two of my friends and I told the lady, I will ask them if they're interested. If they're interested, I will give you their number. But I realized that when people just key into one thing, they really don't want to spread their news. And like one of my sisters said, you know, here, that you see with networking or with social media, I'm not a fan of social media, so I don't think I might be talking too much on that. But you know, even networking around, you know, people you see and opening up. Oh, this is what I do, because they're not gonna know what you do by you muting. So that's what I see. So, and I also looked into something that we need to talk about, you know, what we do in terms of maybe you are selling something, or you are in a profession, or probably you're providing maybe some services. But it's not by us being mute that people will know what we do. Because it's not just by being in a group. It's good to be in a group like now, because I don't normally attend this meeting, but I think this is my second time. And the first time I really enjoyed it, and I said, oh, I will come back again. You know, because I like listening to people, and I like listening to, because we gain from each other as well. We gain, because I remember when you know, when the banks were were telling us to like bank online. I think I was the last people in my team to join, because to be honest with you, I did not join. I prefer walking into the bank, do all I want to do, and come out. And one day I need to travel somewhere and book an hotel with some friends. And my friend said, "Oh, Dayo, oh, so, do you do bank online banking?" I said, "Oh, sorry, to be honest, I'm not ready for this." "Oh, no, I'm not ready." And she said, "Okay, but that's the only way you can make this payment." Okay, I said, "Okay, let me calm myself down. Okay, teach me what to do. What do I do?" Since then, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I stopped walking into the bank.
Wow.
Honestly speaking, for years, I just hated walking into doing online banking. I just hated it. I just prefer to see you, talk, and do whatever I want to do and walk out. But everything has changed. Pandemic has changed everything. In fact, now, even at times I can be in a party, and I'm doing my business. They think, oh, I'm in the party. I'm not in the party. You get what I mean? So, at times I can be in everything has changed. And I really thank God for what has happened, because without it, we're still gonna be in the dark and wasting time.
Sorry, Ms. Omibiyi. I think you are echoing.
I really thank God for what has happened, because without it,
Ms. Omibiyi, I think there's another.
And wasting time.
Sorry, Ms. Omibiyi.
I can see that I'm echoing.
I think there's another.
Wasting time.
Sorry, Ms. Omibiyi.
I can see that I'm echoing.
You are echoing, yeah.
To be honest, I don't know what is responsible for that. Is it okay now?
Is that somebody is watching? Somebody might be watching.
What is responsible for that?
Okay, maybe somebody is watching it online with you. Is that somebody is watching? Somebody might be watching. Okay, maybe somebody is watching it online with you.
Oh, I'm on my own here. Hello?
Yeah.
I'm on my own here. Is this still the same?
Yeah, it's still the same.
Hello? Okay, maybe I will mute so that somebody else talks.
Okay.
But I don't know what is.
Okay, mute for now. Let me see.
Is this still the same?
Yeah, it's still the same.
Okay, maybe I will mute so that somebody else talks.
Okay.
But I don't know what is.
Okay, mute for now. Let me see. Yeah, it's still the same. Okay, mute for now. Let me see.
Shego, I don't think it's from me.
Okay, I can't see anybody here. Okay, hold on.
No, it's not from. Shego, I don't think it's from me.
Okay. Yeah, it's not from you. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Yeah, it's not from you. Hold on. Okay, I will advise people to log off and come back in. Okay, I will advise people to log off and come back in. Log off and come back in. Okay, I will advise people to log off and come back in. please bear with us. We're trying to sort out some technical issues that happened during the meeting on Zoom. Wow. Okay. We'll go. Sorry about that. Oh, it's a big technical issue. We're trying to resolve it. It's been resolved now. Let me call people back in. People are back here. Okay, people are coming back in now. Thank you. Okay. Yes, good. We are getting people back in. Sorry about it. It's a very big technical issue. At least we thank God it's not a power outage. It's a fault that came from another viewing online. So that, and that one was conflicting with this. That's why we had to shut it down. Thank you all for coming back in. Thank you for coming back in. We have resolved the problem now. Yes, all resolved. Yes. Thank you. Mrs. Okay. While okay, why? In the meantime, we can continue. Mrs. Oduwole, you are essential in the area that Mrs. Omibiyi was talking about in terms of food business, how the networking has affected food business. Because I know you are into event management business and everything. What do you think that networking with the people have actually done economically to your business, and how do you think we also can embrace, because some of us might be involved in some areas of expertise, and we might be losing out a lot in other areas of a business like event management, because we don't know how it works, how to network it. So can you please give us more insight into how this event business can become more like a bigger thing, whereby most of us can get involved in it and equally expand it further? Because it's better sometimes when we put all hands on deck and create a new business environment or business strength within our community. I know that you are good in, you already know your network, but of course, when we put in more and more people in it, maybe something else we can use it to transform the next generation. This is Kemi Oduwole, because I know you are into this. Can you please give us insight into what we just talked about?
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
And thank you, Mr. Opanuga, for giving me this opportunity to speak. As we all know, this pandemic has caused a lot of issues to a lot of businesses. And as the woman I've just spoken before me, Mrs. Omibiyi, I think, if I'm right.
Mrs. Omibiyi. Omibiyi.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, online businesses is the best now. And in a way, it has affected my business, and it hasn't affected it because I have got another job. What if I haven't got no other job? What will I do? But at the moment, it's picking up again, doing event planning, serving, all those catering jobs. I think this is one of the best businesses that is out there. So every little businesses
that we can lay our hand on is very important. And I'm glad that we get to come back again on this program, because my contribution that I want to make is to try to be enlightening our children. Because as they are growing up, not only relying on graduate job. I know it's very good to be a graduate, to achieve a degree, a lawyer, barrister, ambassador, very good. But it's always good to have something beside it. Because at my workplace as well, they know me. I always tell them, if you encourage a child to go and learn how to do barbering, hairdressing, all those online small businesses that you can get money from, and they actually appreciate it, because there's one of my colleagues that the child was, abandoned at work. They, they, they sack him from his permanent job as a graduate just because of this pandemic. First of all, they put him on, what do you call it again? Paying little money to them, and that's not even taking them anywhere. So, if not because this child went to go and learn barbering, he wouldn't have.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello.
Hey, continue.
Can you hear me?
Continue, madam.
Okay, if not because this child went to go and learn barbering by then, that's what is making them money now, and it's actually making more money online.
Barbering.
People know him online, phoning him during this pandemic.
Wow.
Even though you haven't got no shop, everything is online. They're chasing him around because they want to barber their hair. And the hairdressers as well. So let's say you're doing hairdressing now, and then you've got a graduate job, you will be earning big money. So my contribution this evening is that let's bring up our children by teaching them to have any very small business beside their job. Tailoring is there, all those small businesses, Because my mom, when she was alive, she's very, very keen to this. And she always say, don't rely on this government job alone. Learn something else. Just do something else to add to it. So we don't know where this pandemic is taking us. So let's encourage ourselves as well to do all these small businesses. Thank you very much. I think that's my contribution.
That is awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Oduwole. That is the most vital area from what Mrs. Omibiyi was talking about. And when she was talking about event planning, when she was talking about so many things, and it's like she was reading my mind. And she never knew that Mrs. Oduwole was into event planning, and she was meant to be the next person that will be talking. So, and that actually synergized exactly what we want to talk about: expanding into areas of business that is away from our academic pursuit or academic achievement or career. Because I mentioned things before most of you came in about one of my colleagues who was retiring and was scared of retiring at 65, and thinking about what the world will give him when he gets back out there. And this is going to happen to some of us as well when we get to the retirement age, about what else can we do, or should we just give up and continue to collect our pension, which is nothing. It might be something initially when they give you, but by the time you spend 5 years with your pension, you want to, even keeping your body, soul and body together, all this little technical work, barbing, air plating, event planning, like Ms. Oni is doing, even though she has another job, she's a nurse as well in the health sector. So you can see how she is increasing our bounty. I remember when I spoke to her as well, I was saying, come and join in this stack collection something, which personally, to be honest, I have never done it before. But when the mind now got to the level whereby I felt I needed to equally increase my economic vibrancy and savings and everything. As one is getting older, the reality is coming up, and even when I want to do so much work at work, I have very little strength to be able to accomplish that. So that equally, because you have about 12 people putting £100 together, and in 4 groups, we've been able to expand into 4 groups, spending almost £700 monthly in savings that we initially cannot even do if we are putting the money in the account. We will spend it, but at least now we are committed, and that tells you a lot economically. If people are reasonable and honest and committed and continue to go according to plans, everybody benefits, because this is what the Asians do, this is what the Jews are doing, this is what the many big economies, the World Bank, they always contribute money into World Bank does not just exist in isolation. It's people putting money in as stakeholders, and when they need the money, they can use it as a loan to help other countries, and the loan comes, of course, with interest. And you need to look into it again. How is Islamic interest, no interest, working in Islam countries? And they are one of the richest people in the world today. And they, of course, it's the same thing. They work in a kind of a streamlined structure, whereby they collect money from people from interest, without interest, and they don't pay tax in most Islamic countries. They don't pay tax, and the loan are interest-free loan. How do they do it? It's a culture. It's a culture of discipline. It's a culture of commitment through their religion. So that's why their religion is a bit streamlined. They understand it from the religion. They are trained from the day they were born that this is how their life will be. And the children already, when they grow up, they contribute into that big family collection, which in Europe today we call it crowdfunding on GoFundMe. You see, so, and there's power in number. On GoFundMe, if you say you want to do something, £5, £2, £3, £2, £5, £100, before you know it, £100,000 from people you don't even know for a cause. Through this GoFundMe, one lady that was introduced from the BBC, she ended up having to pay for her school fees at Oxford University because she could not afford it, and she went to GoFundMe, and the money was raised on GoFundMe. So that means there is power in networking. There's power in social media. There's power in anything that we think, because social media are not just there. Where over 1 billion people are, there is something going on there. I always tell my children too that, do you know that anytime you spend, I'm coming to Ms. Oduwole, she's raising her hand up. I will get on you in a minute. I told my children, I said, do you know that each time you spend time on that social media, you think that you are not paying for that, even though we are paying for the contract for you. But do you not know that from that money we pay monthly, so Facebook already has a particular share on that contract, so that once you buy the phone and you pay your monthly, Facebook collects certain amount from the phone company every day for them to use their logo. And any company, any phone company today, any phone today that does not have Facebook installation on it will not sell, or does not have all the social media on it. So that's why you see that some of these big companies will buy some of these other companies with softwares billions and billions of dollars because they know they're going to get their money back. So that means we can no longer be thinking as ordinary people. We're already having children. If I put majority of us that are here today, put them together and talk about their family members, this and that, everything, we will be almost 1,000 from these few people that are here. We have family members, we have children, we have connections, we have uncles, we have this. And these are all big tools of economy that are wasting every single day, every single minute. Because when we want to do a party, the money comes out. We mentioned this in the beginning of the seminar before you came in. That how can we turn money wasted through parties into money generated through economy that the world can buy into. Let me leave this to Mrs. Oduwole to add to this because she had her hand up. Then I will move to Mr. Femi Emmanuel, our versatile engineer from US, who will contribute after Mrs. Oduwole. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm not going to be very long. Just before I forget, the government nowadays, because of this pandemic, you know, the economic is not very good. They can make anybody redundant anytime. And what I said before, that giant business is, nothing is too small. Let's just go out there and think of what to do and be a role model to everyone around us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Oni. We really, really appreciate you. We will take your advice on board strongly. Even though we know that, yes, we are looking into some of those things, but now that you have given us that direct awareness and emphatically mentioning that we should do it, we will definitely make sure we take it on board. Over to Mr. Femi Emmanuel. Please unmute your phone and we can now hear from you about what you want to add to today's event, which is about how can we become economically viable, how can we build in economic strength through networking. Because we all know each other, we talk about each other, we talk to each other, everybody talks, but what about the economic aspect that the world is buying into? Mr. Femi Emmanuel, unmute your phone, and if you want to talk, you can unmute your phone. Before Mr. Emmanuel comes in, apology to Mrs. Omibiyi, because she was saying something before the technical issues came up. We were able to resolve the matter. Mrs. Omibiyi, before Mr. Emmanuel continues, do you still want to add to what you were saying before? Because we were listening to you before there's something rudely just came up with the technical issues. Please unmute your phone. Okay. Oh, good. All right. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Although, okay, there's not much to say, but I'll just add some bits and pieces as well. Like we should know now that networking and social media is a powerful tool to embrace. And I love what one of the sisters was talking about, you know, not just depending only on our employment, because anything can happen anytime. And the only thing I'm going to chip in here is that there are a lot of opportunities out there. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There are many opportunities out there, even like going into stock, you know, the stock market. You know, people say, oh, they will eat my money, blah, blah, blah. But to be honest with you, that's another area, you know, you can get bit, you know, you can also hand some bits and pieces from there as well. So it's just getting used to knowing how to go about it. So the thing is that the life we are now, because I heard one sister was talking about barbering, like now, it's not just about, you can go to uni, but it doesn't mean uni is going, it doesn't mean you have to work in the area of whatever you do in uni. You can actually also spread your tentacles to other things as well. And I think, to be honest, our youths nowadays, I think they are very, some of them are very, very clever and doing very, very well in those areas. So, like Shegun rightly said, nothing is too late. Nothing is late. We shouldn't just stick to one, put all our eggs in one basket. That's all I know. And that's all I will say at the moment. Yeah? Hello? Hello? I don't know what's going on.
Hello? Sorry.
Hello?
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I think I just went to quickly touch some stuff.
Oh my goodness, you shouldn't have done that.
What happened?
Because I was saying hello. I wasn't sure whether people...
Oh yeah, because I think I pressed something, then I quickly said, let me just...
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, we can hear you, yes. Mr. Yeah.
So life is full of opportunities, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's just, what I just realized is that people don't open up.
Yeah.
At times, people don't really open up. And then I understand that at times, probably...
Hello, we can't hear you. I think it has gone a bit. Mrs. Omibiyi. We can't hear you, Mrs. Omibiyi. Sorry, Mrs. Omibiyi. Okay, I don't know what happened to Mrs. Omibiyi's what happened? Oh. Not again. What happened? Not connected. Oh. Hello? Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello? Hello, everybody? Okay, I think I'm back on again. I think we had internet issues, even though we're on 5G, everything. But 5G to 5 can fail. Miss Omibiyi, you want to continue?
Okay. I don't know whether people...
No, they can hear you. But everybody,
okay.
they're all muted
So,
because of...
like I said there's opportunities everywhere, and what I realized about people at times is that we don't open up. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
On even opportunity, unless you really stumble to some of these things. You really don't, people don't tell you things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm saying that, like one of my sisters one of the sisters here said about us not waiting till probably maybe until we retire or there's no job to do, because nowadays anything can happen anytime. So you can't just put all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm actually giving a suggestion that the stock market too is there for people to look into if they are interested. Though it works both ways, because even during pandemic, I'm telling you, people make a lot of money. Even now that we are talking, people are making money from there.
Of course.
Money can be made there. So, but the thing is to be persevere and to also be patient.
Wow, that's another area.
Probably, if you want to know a bit more, I'm not, I know more about it, and I know there's, people can start from there as well. Because at times when we say we're keeping money in the bank, to be honest with you, bank don't give any interest, and it's easy to even spend all the money. Because once you know that the money you can touch it, you just spend it. But if you know that your money is into something that, even you are making losses and you can't even say to yourself to go and get the money, but the money will get, you will get your money back, you will get your profit back at some point. Not all, because at times it could be very bad.
It's true.
Because I remember during the pandemic, everybody who put money into the stock, honestly, they lose almost half or quarter of their money.
Wow.
But after the pandemic as well, I'm telling you, some companies have really appreciated, and people are getting their money back somewhere.
Somewhere again.
So it works both ways, yeah. So I'm just saying this because I'm safe to talk here. So there are other things we can be trying, but it doesn't mean getting yourself into it. It's a money making area. You can lose money and you can gain money. Just like lottery. Yeah.
It's true. Thank you. It's true.
Yeah, so that's all I would say. We shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket. Because the life we are now, any job that is not not your own job or your business, or it's not your parents or anybody putting you there, it can slip off anytime.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And also, at times one could become sick, or you are not, like the way we can run about 20 years ago, 10 years ago is different from now. Even at times for me, it's like, I really don't want to go to work. I don't really feel like going, but I have to go because I have to earn money. So you don't want to put yourself in such a situation until you are 70, 60, 65. So we need to actually, see how we can help each other in terms of opening up.
Yeah, I think, like you rightly said, African culture and African culture is entwined in African economy and African development. Not opening up is part of the culture of maybe like I'm not sure, I don't know the language they use for it. Like it's a kind of
like monopoly.
Yeah, it's about monopoly. Like everybody is staying within your family and keep it running there. And then we know that from this attitude, we know many names that we used to hear back in Nigeria then, who were billionaires, big businesses. I don't want to mention them. Some of them cannot thrive in this new technology age, and they are fizzled out. The money has gone, and the children cannot take over the business of their parents because the children too have not embraced the same thing that we're talking about here, opening up. And it happened to IBM as well, and it used to happen to many big companies too. They were not opening up until Microsoft came and destroyed the whole shrine of IBM. And this is the same problem we are having everywhere, whereby if we continue to, like Mrs. Omibiyi has said, we must try to open up. We must try to open up, and opening up and speaking, like Mrs. I think Mrs. Afolabi said it. We must speak out. We must talk about what we do. If we don't talk, nobody knows what you do. And that is part of business rules as well. Speaking out. If I go online nowadays, you see some people that were not used to speaking. They are now speaking because they found out that if you don't speak, you don't eat. And Miss Omibiyi, she's still there. Okay. And then Miss Omibiyi has opened this up, and Mrs. Oduwole too, Mrs. Afolabi, Mrs. Apanpa, and there's another person here. Something Abi Mark. I don't know who that is. So I can't be able to introduce that person. Abi Mark. Well, if that person can unmute, you can introduce yourself to us. We will be more than willing to hear from you about what we are talking about. We are not here presenting, we are discussing, sharing ideas together. So if Mr. Abimak wants to add some voice to what we are saying, somebody too is here, Bimbola. Oh, Abimak. Okay, can you unmute yourself, Bimbola? Miss Bimbola? I don't know who that is.
Hello everyone. My name is Bimbola.
Oh, hello,
and
sir.
I'm also a Bimbola Mark.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, Miss Abimbola.
I just changed this to something you can recognize.
Okay, thank you so much, because I was thinking who is Abimak. Okay, Miss Abimbola. There is we have been here for about 3 hours because we started very late. Because some people were waiting for other people to come in. We were talking about networking. A lot has been said, but what MTDD is going to do is to make sure that most of the things that have been shared is recorded, and we can be able to share it with people. On Facebook is on Facebook as well. We've shared the link to people to watch on Facebook. Another thing is we can I might put that here again. Maybe you can share. People can share with their friends and colleagues too to watch on Facebook. Another thing is we are going to make sure we create a kind of maybe like Word document about what people have said, and we will share it with people, because this what many people have said here will change the next generation. It will change a lot of lives, because it's better for us to know now than to be sorry after. Because people have said it. Because some people know somebody who has gone through it, and they've seen how those people came out of it. So this is a real life experience, and that is like how to use networking to build a kind of economic viability among ourselves. Not just like we meet on MTDD and everybody goes. Let us share maybe a telephone number. Of course, if we have people telephone number, this and that, and you talk to this, talk to that, you never know. Some people I've never met. I met them on Facebook, and they have become economically viable in many areas for me and for themselves. I'm telling you. So it is not against saying that this is a joke. So when people are on the Facebook out there, don't think they are just wasting their time. Some people are taking big advantage of this. I remember one event in Nigeria, somebody that has never gathered £2,000 on Facebook gathered almost £50,000 in one day. One day, just because event changed and the person just clicked into the event and the money just started rolling in. It just tells you the power. Even people who were not listening to the person before started listening to the person, and information started sharing, going across the world that, oh, have you heard? The person that wasn't popular became very popular, and more money came in. So you cannot joke with anything you do. Like what Mrs. Omibiyi said, don't take anything for granted. Mr. Onasanya came and said the same too. It's like what Mrs. Omibiyi said, stock exchange. You might not gain money today, but you might gain money tomorrow. So don't think people are wasting time when they are sitting down with stock exchange looking at price index. Let us talk to them. How did you get into it? I remember when I was teaching my students in school, a year 9 student just came and told me, oh, sorry, sir, do you know year 9 or year 9, very young boy. He said, sir, do you do stock exchange? I said, no. I said, what do you know about stock exchange? He said, oh, my uncle is a stockbroker, and he has introduced him into stock. And he said, oh, I said, oh, so which website is it? He said, no, it's an app. I'll download the app for you. I'll tell you the app. And the boy was showing me the app, year 9. He said, oh, he about a week ago, he just gained 500 pounds. He said, oh, he has about 2,000 pounds in his account, savings. I said, year 9, you're a small boy telling me about stock exchange. So don't think information being shared here is for a joke. Mrs. Abimbola, you want to add to this from your own expertise? You can unmute your phone because we want to hear from everybody. We are all important.
No, I don't want to add to it.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. But you can equally benefit from it. Thank you. So this is the area that we need to look at. We will be closing this MTDD in the next few minutes because people have spent a lot of time. But there is room for question and answer for the next few minutes. If people want to ask questions, please do so now. If people want to add 1 or 2 things to the chat room, please go ahead and do so. It is all recorded. We will use it as a part of our networking. And if people want to share what they do, like what Mrs. Afolabi said, if you don't tell us what you do, how do you think we can be able to be part of it? I'm into education sector. Somebody might be thinking about taking their children into a school and they don't know what it entails to go into secondary school. Or somebody might be thinking about looking into how to deal with problems of their children in school. Working with the teachers. How do you solve it? If you keep it to yourself, it might not help you. If you speak to professionals, they might say, you don't do it that way. You do it this way. You go about it this way. And before you know what's going on, as consultants, they will resolve the problem. And your child is happy again. Your child is moving in the same direction you want your child to be. So no knowledge is lost. This gathering is not for a joke. It's for development. So I am into education sector. I am into business. I am into local contribution, which most of us know as Ajo, and we are doing it professionally, well managed, well structured. Professionals are there, they are doing it. Money is rolling in from people's savings. I'm into many things. Mrs. Kemi Oni is into event planning. I've seen many events she has gone to cover, big events with her children, everybody wearing the uniform of their company. Mrs. Afolabi is into charcoal business for summertime businesses, everything, and some other areas. She's equally an expert in the area of union. So we have conglomerate. We have Dr. Obaseki, who came on board as well. She's a legal luminary, dealing with people's problems, family problem, this problem, that problem, solving legal issues. Mrs. Apanpa is here, doing the same. Many people are into something. Mrs. Abibola, what do you do? Can I if I may just ask? Maybe we can start from there, because we can connect with you as well.
You're putting me on the spot here. I just want to be a spectator. You're putting me on the spot.
Oh, because we want to. We know. You know why? I will be honest with you. I don't know you, but the reason why I felt this is the essence of this. It's not about, okay, look at everybody on this platform as you came in. A lot of people have come, some have left. Many people here, we can't see people's faces. I know some of them. But the point is, if we don't talk about what we do, how we do, you never know where we can say, Ms. Abimbola, please give me your number. I am into that area.
I don't think I'm in the sector that can help anybody. I'm into social housing.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
And I don't deal with homelessness.
You see, social housing, this is another area that some people might have somebody who knows somebody that will say, oh, Ms. Abimbola, she can advise you on this area. But this is how we this is what we are talking about. We need to look at why some community are thriving better. They talk, they connect. I know our culture in Nigeria, the culture of I don't want to say much, but that is not the, but let me be honest with you, that is not the culture of Asians. When they are in their midst, they talk, they network. With the Europeans, they might be reserved, some of them might be outward, but they are networking very well. So we cannot joke with this thing at all. Our culture is part of our strangulation. I must be honest, because I know when I was growing up too, your parents will say, I'm sending you to university so that you can get a good job, and when you get a good job, make sure you protect yourself. So we ended up growing up to protecting ourselves, protecting our empire. My family, my son, my children. Don't let anybody know that my son is going to so university or is a master's holder in first class, because everybody, we keep using our culture to hold ourselves down, because we are scared of envy. Somebody might be envious of us. Somebody might do something bad to us because of this issue we have been grown up with. The myth, they call it myth of they might do something bad to you, and that has held us down. But we need to start freeing ourselves from this and say, no, we can talk about it. No, we can make mention of it. We can no longer say because somebody is in Oxford University doing well. Yeah, people might envy, but that does not change the fact that this person might change many people, and the envy might be collapsed completely from the reality that the person is bringing on board. Mrs. Afolabi, hands up. Let me hear from you.
The altruism in what you're just saying, in fact, that should be a big topic for another deliberation, so that we can flog this matter. Going back to our culture, 3 is a crowd. It's not a small crowd. 2 is safe. When it comes to 3, it is a crowd. Because 2 will undermine the 3rd one, and 1 single one can undermine the other 2. And because of that, in a group, even within families, between siblings, that kind of confidence and trust is not there. Between parents and children, it's not even there. Children suspect their parents. Parents suspect that if their children should know certain things about them, it opens them to certain ridicule, and vice versa, and this goes endlessly. Not to talk of places of worship. Places of worship, places of deceit. Somebody who is praying next to you, you are so wary of them hearing your prayer points. And you can just imagine how this thing has eaten deep into our fabric. It's a destroyer. Honestly, it is limiting. It will blindfold us to reality. We have a long way to go. Then look at the whites.
Then you look at their lifestyle. They come to work. Oh, shady, hello. Oh, I went to the. Oh, how are you? Oh, I don't feel well. So why? Oh, well, she went to the hospital yesterday, and the doctor just gave her a diagnosis of this, and they discuss openly. They say, oh, their mom their mom had cancer, and their mom is receiving this. Did you know what? My dad is very poorly. He started wetting the bed, and that means a big problem for me. Now I have to go and take care. No, we cannot discuss that. Never. Never. We won't discuss. No, we're not in that league at all.
It's a big problem.
We can't discuss that.
It's a cultural.
The children going to Oxford, they want everybody to know they're going to Oxford because they want to celebrate it. So we need to, those cultural hindrances, we need to pick it up as a big topic, and no matter the number of people we can reach out to, that is reducing the number of people with myopia. That is reducing the number of people who are suspicious. That is reducing the number of people who cannot relate well to even their immediate family. I'm saying that in a nuclear family, it is a big problem.
It's a big deal.
It is a big problem. The wife cannot tell husband that I am investing in Nigeria. Wife cannot say, oh, I just got a piece of land because I believe it's going to, my husband is not going to allow me to build. My husband is going to mistrust. It's a big, in fact, it is the bane of all our problems. The day we kick that away, how can you stop? Sorry, this is my 2-year-old granddaughter. You can imagine, how can you meet somebody and tell the person, oh, I have a problem, this daughter of mine cannot get an admission, and I want you to help me. And then you do everything possible to help the child. And the child now gets admission. And then you stop over to say, oh, hello, how is your daughter doing now? We thank God. And each time you ask, it's like, oh, can we not even ask questions about this daughter of mine? It's so fine. No, I just don't feel well discussing her. That's the same child when the child had a problem, you were not allowed to sleep day and night. It is your personal problem, and you use everything within your wherewithal to connect the child to help the child to get to where the child needs to get to. So we have a long, long way to go. I'm so sorry that I interjected. I just thought we need to raise that so that we can look at things in a different perspective, and probably there are so many things we will learn from that. Yeah, I call them cultural hindrances. Probably that will give us a topic to think of. Cultural hindrances. They're drawbacks. I see them as drawbacks. Or we can call them cultural drawbacks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. Mrs. Omibiyi, you raise your hand up. Go ahead and add to this, because Mrs. Afolabi has said it's a big issue. And thank God for Mrs. Bimbola, who allowed us to go into something else that we never thought about, but it's going to be for another day to open it up. But Ms. Omibiyi, what do you want to say to this?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I applaud what Mrs. Afolabi said. She's 150% on point. To be honest with you, what my sister just said, oh my God, I remember teaching somebody, you get what I mean? And this lady told me, she said, oh, that a friend of ours, the son and is our own son, they met in the exam room. Meanwhile, this woman will be asking the other woman that, oh, how is your son? Oh, is he going to do exams? He will just pretend as if she doesn't hear. And I said, how can people do this? And I had the experience. I remember when my daughter, my first daughter, I wanted her to go to a grammar school, and I didn't know much. And people from the church, I spoke to them. There's one lady, the son was actually actually attended one of the grammar school. And I said, can you please give me the number of the tutor? She didn't give me the number. She did not give me the number. I went to university in this country, and I was in the educational sector. the lecturer now opened up everything, and that's how I knew more about what is going on. And I said, what's wrong with people? You get what I mean? That's why we are not moving forward. And I love all that Mrs. Afolabi said is what was in my mind. And to be honest with you, I love openness. I love openness, and I can see that she used one word. She said something hindrance. Hey,
cultural hindrance or cultural drawback.
She used one word. Yeah, she used a particular word.
Cultural hindrance.
So, to be honest with you, that is one of the things that is killing us. I will tell you one thing. When I was teaching, I told you this previously. I was teaching, and this person brought a child to me and said, "Oh, miss, please, I need somebody to teach maths in secondary school. I need somebody to. Can you teach science?" I said, "Let me tell you one thing. Teaching is not like that. I will tell other my friends. Do you get what I mean? But some people they are not brave enough to even tell you that. Oh, let me recommend you to somebody. You can't steal my business. I can't steal yours. We are all in different angle, and this is what is killing the country up to today. Until we remove that, as Mrs. Afolabi have said, we're going nowhere. We're going nowhere. I'm telling you. That is exactly the problem that we are having. Mistrust. We can't trust. We can't. Well,
it's a big.
So that's all I just want to say. But I hope that, because I can see that in bits, like in my church now, at least there's a bit of openness, particularly when we are having like house this prayer meeting thing. To be honest with you, and I think it's because of other ethnic minorities we have with us. Because I've mixed with different African people. I don't do things with only Nigerians. So, and I see how, and I think I think the problem at times is that if it's only us in a group.
Okay.
Is always a problem. But once you have like Kenyatas, maybe the Kenyans, the Gambians, the Jamaicans, the English people, you will see that there will be diversity in the way you think.
That's good.
So I think probably if we mix more, you get not just like limiting ourselves to a particular group. Because for me, to be honest with you, I don't have anything to hide. That's the reason why I can't have too many friends, because I'm open. Even I myself, I'm always scared of myself, but I always say to myself that even if I tell you anything, there's nothing you can do with me, because at the end of the day, you open up for other people to gain. You're not going to get into your money or get into your business or anything. I've seen some things that really, really surprise me as how our people do things. I'm telling you, how can you not tell your friend that there are good grammar schools, just because you want your child to go to that school? You don't want another person to do the exam of that school.
It's crazy.
And you are not opening up. To be honest with you, I've seen a lot. I've seen that happening.
It's
upsetting.
It's very upsetting, yeah.
Your child goes into a very good uni. You don't want to open up for them to say, "Oh, this is how I go about things," just because you just want only your child to be there. Mrs. Afolabi, you've said well. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you.
We should change.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Omibiyi. What can I say? This is amazing. We can continue to do this. We started at approximately 4:20 or thereabout, and I know that this is people's weekend. We wanted to finish it within 2 hours, but of course we had some glitches along the line. and we were able to rise above it. But we need to draw down the curtain now, so that people can go and have a pleasant time with their families and continue with the holiday and the summer break. It's 7:30 now. As we end this today, like I said, I promise to give this maybe everything that have been said, put it together and share it with everybody on Facebook, everywhere, for people to look into what people are saying, how we can change our community and make it to become economically viable. I've worked with virtually everyone that I've met, and they have been of great importance. Mrs. Abibola, if you want to maybe share your, I'll put my telephone here. You can always let me put my telephone here for people to reach out to me. That's 07984 195 139. You can, my name is Opanuga. So you can reach out to me, and then we can build the relationship from there, build the connectivity from there. It's not for anything but helping the community. We might not have met, but we might end up meeting somewhere, and it will be so easy for us to. I know one of the people that are on Mtdd, who has now got a very 4-star hotel in Nigeria, and somebody said he wanted to go to Nigeria for a wedding, and I said, tell this person that you are coming through Mtdd, and the guy wrote back to me and said, uncle, I will make sure I look after your people, anybody that's coming through Mtdd. This is part of networking. This is what it's all about. Most of the things that you might find difficult to get, you might get them easily through who you know. That the world is coming back to that again. Who you know might make things so easy for your children to get a job, to get everything without having to go through thread needle, to get anything they want. And on this note, I say thank you to everybody. The telephone is there, and our email address is there as well. That's mtdd leaders L&B at gmail.com. From there you can begin to network. Most of the people you have met here, these are all fellows in their professions. These are all high professional people. These are all CEOs. They run businesses, they run companies, they run their own multi-faceted businesses as well, to continue to do so much. So does anybody still want to say anything? Then we now just do short prayer by Mrs. Afolabi to say goodbye. Mrs. Afolabi, you can unmute your phone and pray for us all, and we can go. Okay, I think Mr. Afolabi, you want to unmute your phone and pray for us, and
stop. I am Celestian, but I'll pray in the secular way for everybody to be able to be part of this. In Jesus' name,
amen.
In the mighty name of Jesus,
Amen.
Father, we want to thank you for the delegation of today. We thank you because you are the owner of all gifts, and you decide to give unto those whom you love and those whom you have chosen for a particular path. We thank you that you have chosen your children today to be vessels unto honor. We thank you for the wisdom. We thank you for the resilience. We thank you for the patience. We thank you for the words that came out of their mouth. We thank you that you have allowed us to be able to hold another session of the mtdd program.
Thank you.
Lord, it's been 6 years, and I joined probably 5 years ago. And I can testify that it has been getting better and better and better. Even without having to sit down together collectively in a room, we are still advancing forward and we're gaining more grounds and we're doing better and better. We can only thank you for this. And as such, we want to thank you for the deliberation of today. We thank you for everything that has taken part. We want to thank you because you have made it possible. I want to ask that as we go, each and every one of us, into various things that we shall be doing going forward, that the leading of the Holy Spirit that guides and makes one to reflect and remember and to action every point, every new ground, every new thing that we have learned or heard today. You make it to dwell in our hearts in the name of Jesus. And Lord, for MTD,